Hi guys. How are you? Is anybody here? Um, Whoa, I thought I just went into the wrong live. I was like, I hope I didn't get one of the canceled ones. Um, because I swear I saw comments and then when I clicked they were gone. That's why I was like, wait, did I go in the wrong one? How are you guys? Blah, blah, blah. Hi Casey. Got my fresh I'm drinking decaf right now. I was gonna edit some pre-records, but I just saw that this interview. It came out well when I watched it, like what now it's been like 45 minutes, 50 minutes ago. It said 35 minutes. It just came, it just got uploaded. Um, so I was like, ooh, this would be interesting to go live and just watch it with you guys. I'm probably not gonna be long. I'm gonna try to cut it like an hour because I want to do some editing, put out some pre-records. But I know, Casey, isn't that crazy? Okay, so the this is what we're gonna watch. So the homeowner of the house that David was living in, when this probably happened, at the time period, in the Hollywood Hills or whatever you call it, he hired an investigator because remember he wanted to know what was going on, and LAPD is not giving him anything. Um, so he hired his own private investigator, and guess who he hired? SF Investigates. His name's Steve. I'm sure if you guys have been around the true crime community, you guys have probably have heard like a case he's covered because he covers a lot of cases, especially in that area. And then he'll do interviews and he'll like put like on Twitter or what um oh my God, X. I almost forgot what it's called now. He's really active on that. So they hired him, which actually kind of does make sense because he is local. He knows a lot about the case already. So I want to watch that interview with him. I already watched it, but I want to watch it with you guys. I think it's really interesting. And then I will share a couple more things and then we'll call it a short night because I want to do a couple pre-records for y'all. But let's watch it. It's very interesting. Um, yes, actually, the first time I, even came into not came into contact, but heard of SF Investigates was from the Kylie case. That's true. Okay, I'm gonna try using my AirPods. I miss using my AirPods. I know there's some issues where it has like these glitches that sometimes it stops sharing the audio when I'm sharing the audio and stuff. But I'm gonna try it. If case you're here, if for some reason the audio is not sharing, let me know because sometimes it'll make them go out. But I gotta use them. They're so much clearer, and I don't have to keep my head, and they stay in my ears better. Hey, Hope G. Okay, so let's watch. Let me make sure I'm connected. Okay, that's connected. Okay, so let's make sure my settings are connected. Audio, AirPods. Okay, should all be good. Okay, so let me share my screen and let's watch it. Okay, just get it where I want. I'm getting it to all that. Okay, I got it right where we want it. Let me put it over here and let's do this. Let me show my screen, share screen. Anyway, how's everybody doing though, by the way? I didn't even really say hi. Okay, I changed. I got my stars back in my space and stuff. Okay. Hey Ashley, what's up? You're following this case, huh? Um, all right, so let's watch this first and we'll talk about it and go from there. So it's Law and Crime with Jesse Weber. Here we go.
All right, so you remember that we told you that the Hollywood Hills landlord, the property manager for that property that David, the singer, had been staying at, that property owner, that landlord had hired a private investigator to look into the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the teen found dismembered in David's abandoned Tesla that was nearby? Well, not only do we know who this private investigator is, but I just interviewed him. Yeah, you're going to see him on this episode. And I'm recording this introduction after I interviewed him. And let me just say, he reveals a lot. Okay? A lot. Now, this may not provide all the answers, but I will tell you, if you are listening to what he has to say, you're starting to get a better picture of a lot of things, okay? So this PI himself, Steve Fisher, we'll play that interview in a minute. Now, quick refresher. So police raided this $3.64 million home, which David had reportedly been paying tens of thousands of dollars in rent. We know that Celeste's body was found in the trunk of his impounded Tesla back in September, that the Tesla was near this property. And to be clear, since then, there's been no suspects that have been named, no persons of interest, no arrests. David has canceled his tour. He's moved out of that mansion. He has transferred properties that he owned in Texas to his mother. The whole thing has been a lot of unanswered questions. And that is where this LA landlord, apologies if I'm mispronouncing the name here, Mladen Trifunovic, stepped in. He wasn't content to sit back and just wait for the LAPD, so he brought in his own private investigator to start digging, to get some more answers. We've talked about that in a previous episode, but now we actually know who that investigator is, Steve Fisher. I'm going to play you that interview. It is something, but let me just say real quick, pin down exactly what this case is about. This all started on September 8th when LAPD officers were called to a tow yard on Mansfield Avenue in Hollywood after workers noticed this foul odor coming from a Tesla that had been sitting there. That car was registered to 20-year-old singer David, real name David Anthony Burke, the Houston-born artist behind the hit Romantic Homicide. That Tesla had been abandoned near the Hollywood Hills rental property, towed away, and was just sitting there. And when officers opened the front trunk, they found something horrific. Human remains wrapped in plastic. And a few days later, it was confirmed that that body belonged to 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a teen runaway who had been missing from Lake Elsinore since April of 2024. Her remains were decomposed, suggesting that she had been in that car for weeks. The cause of death is still officially deferred. Now, while David is not being considered at this point officially as a suspect or even a person of interest, the internet started connecting the dots, or seemingly connecting alleged dots, between David and Celeste. Screenshots from Discord chats, live stream clips, old photos started circulating, all suggesting that they had been in contact. Maybe they were even in some kind of relationship. TMZ had reported those that were close to David thought that Celeste was 19 years old, that maybe there was a relationship going on, and fans have pointed out that both she and David had that same small shh tattoo on their fingers. And if that wasn't eerie enough, David has this unreleased song with Celeste in the title that's been reported. Everything has unraveled for David since the discovery. There's been a canceled tour date, pause on promotions for his upcoming album, drop brand deals. And while all of this is happening, David has been making some major legal and financial moves. He's retained Blair Burke, the powerhouse Hollywood defense attorney who's represented people like Harvey Weinstein. David transferred the deeds to 2 Texas properties to his mother right after one of those houses was apparently swatted, this false reporting of a shooting and a dead body there. But now let's get to it. Okay, let's circle back to that Hollywood Hills rental property, how a private investigator, a PI, even got involved in this case. So according to LA Magazine, police had executed a search warrant on that property back on September 17th. So since David had been renting it for reportedly about $20,000 a month, a home that was owned by a man named Mladen Trifunovic. And officers reportedly collected electronics, computers. They searched the drains for traces of blood or tissue. At least that's the reporting from TMZ. Can't officially confirm that. But this homeowner had said that after he'd heard almost nothing from the LAPD about what they found, he was frustrated. And that is when he made his move and hired his own PI. He told TMZ and the Daily Mail that his family wanted answers about what might have happened in or around this home, and that he wasn't trying to interfere with the police investigation. He just didn't want to be left in the dark about what connections, if any, his property could have to all this. And TMZ reports that the LAPD has since seized surveillance footage from the same home, cameras that could show exactly who entered or exited the property. Now, this homeowner reportedly told the outlet that he hasn't even seen the footage himself out of respect for his tenant's privacy. He also claims the police still haven't given him a copy of the warrant or told him exactly what they took. So the big question now is what exactly happened in or around that home, right? And whether the private investigator hired by this landlord, this property owner, has found anything that could shed light on that timeline. And that is where we're heading next, okay? Just one more thing before we get to him, something that we've learned. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman spoke out, confirmed the case is still under investigation. No case has been presented to his office yet. We're going to get into that a little bit. But now I want to bring on our...
I'm not a big fan of that guy because it reminds me of, the Menendez brothers and stuff. And I just got a bad taste in my mouth from I don't know, just seeing what he had to say about that. I just didn't care for him really. But maybe because I was just hoping for the Menendez brothers to get off, and I was just hoping for him to support them in that way, so maybe that's why. But I don't know though, there's still something about him. I'm talking about the prosecutor or whatever, what's his name, the guy that was just up there, or this guy right here, not the here
that we've learned. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman spoke out, confirmed the case is still under investigation. No case has been presented to his office yet. We're going to get into that a little bit. But now I want to bring up...
LA County District Attorney is who? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Something about him. Just, I don't know. Maybe first impressions sometimes can change. I mean, sometimes I'm wrong, I should say, on first impressions, but...
On our special guest, I'm joined by private investigator Steve Fisher, who is hired by David's former landlord. Really appreciate you taking the time here to talk about this. First off, Steve, how were you hired? How were you retained in this matter?
So originally, when the body was originally found, I had another missing persons case going in LA of a female, and we thought that could be that individual. And so I kind of stayed with the case for a little while until she was identified, and we knew it wasn't. And I had, discovered some other things, such as when the car was towed and the photos from it being towed and whatnot. And, the owner had gotten in touch with me of the house, and I shared some things with him, and it just kind of evolved from there. But one thing, I would say is he is the owner of the house. He wasn't David's landlord. David wasn't even on the lease, and the owner never even knew that David was in the house. It was actually Josh Marshall, his manager, who had leased the house.
But to be clear, David was living there, right?
Yes, he was definitely staying there. It just was not known to the owner.
Right. Okay. And by the way, I understand this is, an active investigation. There might be limited what you can share. But what exactly is he looking for in this? What exactly is this property owner? What kind of answers is he looking for?
So where really kind of evolved from was the search warrant was served, I believe, on the 17th or 18th. And it was a forced entry search warrant, meaning that nobody was home at the time. And they did not leave a copy of the warrant or of the return, the inventory list of the items that they took from the house. And it was really kind of born out of that. I was not officially retained at that time, but I helped him try to obtain that. And we told robbery homicide, hey, listen, no warrant was left behind. David was out on tour. Josh Marshall lives out of state, we found out. So the owner had his representative go to the house immediately after he found out about this. And there was no warrant, no return. So he really just wants to understand what of his property could have been taken and what the status of that is. And then also, this is troublesome when you learn something like this. All of a sudden you're thrown into this, and he feels absolutely horrible for Celeste's family. And he's like, if there's anything that involves, in and around my house that could help, then I want to discover that. And I'll tell you that there have been things that we've learned and we've turned right over to LAPD, but we think there's significant, things that could help.
Do you mean that there might be evidence that a crime was committed at that house?
Not so much a crime, no. And I'll just be honest with you. we don't have any evidence that anything happened to Celeste at that house, but there is definitely evidence that we've collected that helps the timeline. We now have a much better understanding of when that Tesla arrived at that final parking spot. I'll tell you, I do have surveillance from different houses in the neighborhood showing Tesla being moved. So things like that, and I'm not even saying that LAPD didn't have that. I'm sure they did, but we wanted to make sure. And, and we did some work and on the up-resing the footage to find out who was driving the vehicle. And there are some other items that were found at the house that weren't taken during the search warrant. And, search warrants are limited, right? They can't just go take everything. It's what the judge, and we don't know how broad that search warrant was because we haven't seen it. And that's what we'd like to see. But there were some things that were not taken into custody of LAPD that we think are significant, and including digital media and some other things that really help nail down timeline and things like that.
And you handed that over to LAPD. There's other.
We have literally the day that we, the things that we've recovered, we've given to LAPD within 24 hours.
Do you know who was driving that car, that Tesla? You don't have to tell me, but do you know the identity?
Yeah, as far as it going to the final, that what we believe is the final parking spot where it was towed from, yes.
And that information's been communicated to law enforcement.
So it's been given to law enforcement. They're not going to tell us if they're confirming if that's a person or not. Robbery, homicide.
So I'm wondering if they had talked this over before the interview and he was like, okay, I'm not going to give you the name of the person that drove the car, because right here you should be like, hey, can you tell us who is it? But he doesn't. Jesse doesn't ask him. So I'm sure they probably talked about it before. Like, I'm not going to be able to tell you the name of the person that moved the car, but Steve, SF Investigates, is saying he knows who was the last person to move this car. And you'll see he says it's July. He knows the date that the car was moved, July, end of July. And he says it lines up. And I think he's throwing out some hints for us because he knows who it is. But he says something like, you'll see it coming up, about how it lines up with, like, they move the car and then they get on the bus to start the tour, whoever this is. So it's like, I'm trying to read it. Like, I'm trying to really read him. Like, is he saying it's David or is it somebody else? But then he also says that somebody else, there's only one key to this house and somebody else had it when David was on tour. So it sounds like he doesn't know who that was. You'll see. He says he can't know 100% who the guy was or who the person was that was in the house when David was on tour. But he says he 100% knows who moved the car last. So I don't know. And then he's like, and then then right after the car gets moved, they get on the bus to go to the tour. Or I think he says bus, but the tour starts. So it seems pretty lines up pretty close to perfect that could it be like this interview is making me think more that David is involved in this. I mean, allegedly, in my opinion, it's making me lean, more towards that, even closer towards that. Sorry. I got to keep it fair. So I do want to talk. Plus, I have thoughts on it. I want to tell you. Oh, hey, Just Star Gazera.
The way they work is we'll take your information. We're not going to speak on it, so I don't know. But listen, it's very clear that that neighborhood is filled with surveillance cameras, and the timelines, once we learn those dates and we can see other things that were happening that were even public on Instagram and whatnot, or going on in those people's lives, it makes a lot of sense.
So let me ask you this. If you see when the car was parked there, have you seen anything to indicate that Celeste's body was transferred into that car after the car was parked there? Or in other words, do you believe that her body was in that car the minute it was parked in the location it was ultimately towed from?
So I'll say I have no evidence of a body being transferred before or after. There's no evidence of that at all. But I will say when it was moved to that position, it was already like that. So that car had not been used in a very long time. It was super dirty, caked on dirt. I'll tell you, this was in late July. So it's bizarre because We also got media that the car was used a lot. David even spoke about it in Instagram videos. He took it to a detail shop and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, the very beginning of the year, that car, something happens, and that car's doesn't show up anymore. It's not used. It seems to disappear. And then that red Tesla learned, which we didn't know until the search warrant was served, that there's a red Tesla in the garage, which I can tell you was at on February 1st.
Yeah, let me just narrow down here. Do you have the precise date of when that car, the one with the Tesla, with Celeste body inside, when it was left there? Do you know the specific date of when it was left in Hollywood Hills?
I believe so. I believe it. Late July, very late July.
So one thing that we've heard, and this is something we've talked about, is the LAPD has seized footage from the rental property, multiple security cameras around the property. There are even reports of a smashed Ring camera on the ground. And according to TMZ, police seized all the footage from multiple security cameras at the house last month when they executed the search warrant. TMZ described that footage as a, quote, potential gold mine for investigators. And the question becomes, did you see anyone coming into or leaving that property after the Tesla was there? So after the Tesla with Celeste's body inside is there, can you tell us you saw people coming in and out of that property before the search warrant?
No, not from the time that the Tesla was left. So from the time the Tesla was left there, he literally immediately started the tour. There was a tour bus that was leased, and I'll tell you that Tesla was moved and literally a bus departed for tour.
Okay. You talked about things that might have been taken from the house, things that you handed over.
He does say a bus. Hint, hint. Because remember, he knows who this is. He knows who moves the car. He says, but he said he can't make out who it is that was in the house because the video, you can't tell who it is or something. But he says only there's one key. So that means David would have gave a key to somebody, right? But hint, hint. I mean, is he trying to give us a hint that it was David or somebody on tour? Because he says, like, basically he's saying, I think he's giving us a little hint, like freaking move the Tesla and then bam, this person goes on tour. So to me, he's saying it's somebody that went on tour with him. I feel like he's saying that. He's telling us at least that much. So it's either David or somebody that's on tour that went on tour with him, right? Are you guys getting the same thing from that? Okay.
To LAPD, is there anything you can share with us about what that information may be?
One thing that you just brought up, and I guess which TMZ reported on, the security system. The house has got a very sophisticated security system, not just with cameras, but with sensors and all types of things. It all records to a DVR. And for privacy reasons, the owner, when he leased the house, said, this is the system that's in the house and you can use whatever functions you want on it. That's not something that then the owner could access. So we don't know if the cameras were enabled or not enabled, but if they were, it wouldn't just be cameras. It would be, we'd know anytime anybody came and went from the house, anytime anybody opened a window, everything, if they kept it like it was. But we don't know. LAPD came in and took that whole DVR. They took the entire system, which you would expect. And I've talked to the security company that installed the system, and they've told me, how it was set up. We think it was probably running because there's limited alerts that the security guy can see, which is stuff like if there's a major failure. And there was a low power failure warning that triggered right when they were executing the search warrant. And I think that's when they unplugged the system. So there's reason to believe that the system was running. Whether the cameras were covered or not, I don't know. I can tell you that some of the smoke sensors in the house were covered, and that's probably because maybe I don't know what they were doing in the house. So the cameras might have been covered as well. During
the course of your investigation so far, have you learned more information about Celeste and David, perhaps their connection, anything we should be thinking about that hasn't been publicly reported? Is your investigation also into them as well?
Sure. Yeah. And one of the reasons that we kind of come public with what I'm doing is because I have a little bit different method of working than a lot of private investigators and then what people think is the proper way of doing it. I believe in this digital age, and when, especially the younger generation, when they're on places like Discord and you don't even know their real identities, I put myself out there, and those people do come to me, and a tremendous amount of people have come to me, and I've learned a lot. Now, listen, a lot of it's circumstantial, right? But there are people that are directly in his orbit, and there are people that have photos and videos, and we've gotten a lot of photos and videos from inside the home itself. So you can put people at certain dates and times at the house, and there's a lot of them. It's in the thousands.
Do you know if Celeste was ever at that property?
So, what we recovered, we don't have any of her at that property. We have pictures of her and that were taken by David, we assume, because it's not on a camera phone, but these photos are on a regular camera at different locations. And it really makes me think that it's likely she had another place she was staying. I can tell you that there was a lot of time spent towards downtown LA. And I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood. And that
was September of 24, I believe. So
yeah.
We didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died, right?
No,
okay.
I don't have any information of how she died or when exactly she died. Investigations are always moving. And right now I tend to believe it happened a while ago, a long time ago. And I think January, February, things change. I mean, you can see it in the photos and everything. And I also think
right there, he's got me so curious. He says, things change. You could see it in the photos. What the heck? God, my curiosity is like, it's creating so many more questions now because he obviously knows a lot more than what he's allowed to say. But you just catch little things he says. So what is he seeing the difference in the photos, of their environment changing? But he does go on to talk about this something disturbing that they were planning on. And he kind of insinuates that he's talking about the disposal of her, but they didn't follow through with it. So he's he thinks that maybe the plan didn't go as what what was supposed to happen or something. You'll see. I mean, he throws out these little hints. I wish we could know more, but I don't know. I guess he's probably not allowed. I mean, I don't know. Is he allowed? He does not working for the cops. So, I mean, I guess to be a responsible, he probably would want to wait till there was more out or not to ruin the murder investigation. I don't know. I'm not sure how that all would work, if he would be allowed to tell us that information or not.
First started looking at this case, I'm very much an Occam's razor type of person where I think things are a lot easier than people try to make them sometimes, especially online, into these big things. And I thought this was going to be a tragic overdose, which it very well still could be. And they made a bad decision because they didn't want to expose a potential relationship and put her in this Tesla. And then maybe he thought he could get somebody to get rid of that car. And they were just like, no, I'm not doing it. And just got left there. But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic stuff, and that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it just
okay. Let's just talk about that for a minute. Thank you, Al, so much. Oh, thank you. Thanks to have mods in chat. Such a lovely community on this channel. Thank you. So he says a sadistic, disturbing plan that he was able to make out through pictures and text and whatever he went through, messages or whatever he was able to get his hands on. Sadistic and disturbing plans, like a bigger plan that was supposed to happen that didn't. And he said it for the disposal of her body. And he also does talk about it again, where he clarifies it wasn't necessarily what how they were going to kill her, but how they were going to dispose of her. So what is he saying? So to hint, it sounds like he's saying there's more than one person involved. Like he thinks there possibly is more than one person involved, at least on disposing, but he still doesn't know what happened. Because it could just be like an accident happened, but they were afraid to, call because he would have gotten in trouble for the underage stuff. So they come up with this sick plan, or maybe something else happened. But yeah, I mean, he's leaving us some hints here, but I mean, it's going to drive us crazy because it's probably going to be a long time before we have answers to this, unfortunately.
Doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her and how.
Okay, I'll rewind it. Hold on.
And then maybe he thought he could get somebody to get rid of that car, and they were just like, no,
I'll rewind it.
Right type of person where I think things are a lot easier than people try to make them sometimes, especially online, into these big things. And I thought this was going to be a tragic overdose, which it very well still could be. And they made a bad decision because they didn't want to expose a potential relationship and put her in this Tesla. And then maybe he thought he could get somebody to get rid of that car, and they were just like, no, I'm not doing it, and just got left there. But I will say this, there are some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is, there could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her, and it's scary, sadistic stuff. And that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more, but for obvious reasons I can't. But it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just, their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like, will blow your mind.
Has anyone from David's team, management, legal, anybody reached out to you or your client?
I know that my client's been in touch with his manager, but only for the purpose of the lease, because they did ask to terminate the lease. And I believe the other manager that technically was the owner of the red Tesla, I think, was in touch with him because they needed access to the house to get that vehicle and stuff out. Because that's another thing that they could be key in this, is that there's only one key to that house, and who had that and who had access to it and who was in it. Because we also have evidence that while David was on tour at the time between the Tesla being found and the search warrant being served, David was on tour, but somebody was in that house. And there was actually a report made, not with police, but that homeowner association has a robust private security company, and we've gotten videos from them and reports. And so who had that key is probably the same person that, had access to the Tesla.
Do you know who that person is? And do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla on that late July before they went on tour. I can't say who the person, and I can't say but I don't know who exactly was in that house, because it's just a report, but there's video, but you can't make a person out. But somebody was in the house, and being that there's only one key, it's like, okay, who had access at that time? So is it the same person that moved the Tesla? Was another last part of the plan about to go in motion as far as getting rid of her body? I don't know.
Now, we heard this week.
Because I'm a little bit confused now. I'm thinking more into it. So he's saying that he's considering that it could be the same person that was in the house that moved the Tesla. But remember, he also insinuated that the person that moved the Tesla probably went on tour with him, it sounded like. But if it still can make sense, because remember, the timeline he said of the person that he's talking about being in the house was from the time they found the Tesla to the time that they moved out, like that they terminated the lease. So that if it is the same person, that person could have still been on tour with him, and then when they found the Tesla, he could have left. You know what I'm saying? Or been on tour at some period. But then, see, he didn't answer the question if it was the same person, because if he would answer that, and I can't read if he's saying that he thinks it is or not, because that would be a huge answer if it was David or not, because we would know if he said that yes, or kind of like was thinking that it could be the same person, then it can't be David that last moved the Tesla, because David would not have been in LA right after the Tesla was found, because he did a couple more shows, right? Unless if Steve's not being that specific and he just means like a couple weeks after they found the Tesla. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? So And he didn't say, like, you would think if he knew, so let's say it was David that moved the Tesla, and you think he would have showed a little bit more like, no, I know it's not the same person that was in the house, because I don't think that would have been David right after they found the Tesla. Am I making sense? But the fact that it sounded like he wasn't sure is making me think that maybe it wasn't David that moved the Tesla, because he would know. Am I making sense? You guys follow me? Unless if he just wasn't thinking that deep into it. So when he was asked that question, he just said he doesn't know because he can't tell who was in the house. You know what I'm saying? But if he really was thinking like, wait, that couldn't be David because he wouldn't have been home at that time. Are you guys follow? I'm trying to take any hint of what he says, like what he's not saying, to try to figure out, because remember, he knows some things, right? So we got to try to like hear what he's saying and see if he lets out any information that he doesn't even really mean to. Okay, sorry.
From LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman, and he actually addressed this case directly when a TMZ reporter caught up with him outside the DA's office. And regarding the status of the case, he said, quote, "It is currently under investigation. We don't discuss suspects or the points in a continuing investigation. When and if that case is presented to the DA's office and we make a decision on it, I'll make sure you're one of the first to know. A case has not been presented to our office for filing consideration." And just to underline that, a spokesperson for the DA's office confirmed to Complex that, yeah, no case has been presented for filing consideration. The LAPD also told the outlet that the county medical examiner still hasn't determined a cause or manner of death, saying, quote, "It remains unclear whether there is any criminal culpability beyond the concealment of her body." Now, Steve, you just told us a lot of information here. Are you surprised that we don't have a confirmed suspect from law enforcement or a person of interest or even an arrest at this point? Or can you say from what you're seeing, that makes sense, but Jesse, maybe being on the lookout for something soon?
Yeah, I would say, Jesse, that makes sense, but maybe be on the lookout for something soon. Yeah, I've seen this in a lot of cases. It tells me, listen, I don't have any inside information on this. I'm just saying, from my opinion, that this means that during the examination, the autopsy examination, there was nothing very obvious, such as a crushed skull, bullet holes, anything like that. So they're waiting on toxicology to come back to make that final determination. Now, is the medical examiner in contact with the detectives in between this time? Are they? Absolutely. Do they have a preliminary determination? I'm sure they do. I think the DA's office is working side by side with the detectives and telling them, this is what we need for these charges. This is what we would need for these charges. Can you get it or not get it? Listen, a crime 100% happened here. At minimum, it's the concealment of a body, right? So we know somebody did that. Hopefully it's not, a mutilation. Hopefully those initial reports were wrong about her being dismembered. But one thing I have to say, even though I talked about how we found some things that could have meant they had a really twisted plan in place to get rid of her, it never went in motion. So you can't charge somebody for a crime that they may have thought about doing. So, we may never know more about that.
So, Steve,
obviously, whatever that plan was, he knows that it never went in motion, so it wouldn't have been dismemberment, because you know what I'm saying. So it has to be something, because I think somebody in chat said something about what dismember, but that could have been the first step of it. Like he said, sadistic. So like, I wonder if he's talking about like some kind of ritual or something. I don't know. Wow.
Before I let you go, do you have any indication about where David is right now?
I don't. I have no idea. And it's kind of bizarre because his group has stayed so silent, what's left of his group, I guess. And I'm not even sure the conversations that the owner did have with his management in breaking that lease. I'm not even 100% sure his management knows at this time where he's at. I think his attorney might be the only one, and his parents.
Steve Fisher, really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much for providing a little bit more.
Oh, that's crazy. Very interesting. Man, I wonder though, like even after this, let's say they do end up arresting somebody and they have their investigation, trial, whatever. Oh no, because if they had a trial, then we would probably see the stuff he's talking about. But if somebody takes a plea deal, that stuff that he's talking about, whatever their plan was, would probably not even come out because we wouldn't have a trial. But I do believe the way that I've seen him cover cases, like I believe that he would probably share it after the case is closed and stuff. I don't know. It seems like he's the type that he would just share everything that he found once he's allowed to. So I think we will end up finding that out. But maybe not for a while, but okay. So what do you guys think? Pretty crazy, huh? Now, another thing, which I found this other thing on Reddit, and it says from the Daily Mail. So I was trying to find like the original article or whatever from Daily Mail or the original post, and I can't find it. So then it got me thinking like, well, no, it is a real picture. You could, well, with AI, never mind. But look, it's a picture of his mom walking out of a gun store with a pamphlet. Hold on, let me show you here. So right here. So that's his mom. And I don't know who that is because his dad is not his dad, but and they said it's like a gun pamphlet type thing here. This is where the Reddit thing right here. Hold on, let me share this. Right here. Wait. Okay. Oh yeah. I have to do post. Okay. So it says first public sighting. Oh, I don't even have this shared. Shoot, what the heck? There I go again. Didn't even have it shared. So this is what I was trying to show you. I'm sorry. It's on my eye. So that's his mom, and then some pamphlet here. But let me who are you talking about, Katie? Ian? Who's Ian? Huh. Anyway, so that's his mom, and she's I guess coming out of a gun store. And here's the Reddit post. Oh shoot, we'll watch that in a minute. But here is this. Okay, so it says, let me make sure, is that the first one? Yeah, this one. It says first public sighting. David's mom spotted at Texas gun store amid murder probe. Colleen Roberts Burke, mother of David, was photographed leaving Tomball Pawn and Jewelry. So I guess it was a pawn shop, sorry. And jewelry near Houston, clutching an AR-15 rifle manual. It is not clear what, if anything, she purchased inside the store. First time seen since teen. Celeste remains were found in David's abandoned Tesla. Burke wore a Send Nudes t-shirt, appeared tense, pacing on her phone, per the Daily Mail. So that's what the mom wore, a Send Nudes? What? Pacing on her phone. David, 20, his mother, management team, and record label have been silent since the probe began. David hasn't been seen publicly in weeks. Celeste, just 13, vanished last year. Okay, that's not accurate. Oh, when she never mind. When she ran away. I thought they were saying, okay, never mind. That is vanished last year. Her family says she was allegedly in a relationship with David. One of the Daily Mail sources said the teenager kept in contact with friends via text and phone calls for more than a year after she was reported missing. Then all contact apparently abruptly stopped sometime late in July or early August. Okay. So that, and then I want to share one more thing. I did that voice, change the pitch. I'm going to do a little short pre-record on it, see what people think. But I'll just share what you guys think real quick. But then if you see it pop up as a pre-record, that's why. I need to start doing that more, where I put up some more shorts and pre-records of my videos. I need to start being on it. Okay, so the sucky thing is if anybody could find me more of David's brother's voice, please. I could only find one little clip in the documentary. There's like a little 20-minute David documentary that somebody does like years ago, where his brothers talk. So it's a couple of years old. And his brother says like a couple things like really quick, and that's the only voice I could get. Which, if anybody could find me more, I was trying to search for more times he talked, because I'm leaning more towards it sounds more like his brother than him, but it might not be either. But okay, so here is the audio. I changed the pitch. That's all I've tried so far, but when I do the pre-record, I might try to do some other things. But I just wanted to do the pitch. Maybe I won't, because if I do anything else, then it's going to change. You can't change more than that, or you can't say, oh, that's the same person. But I don't know, the voice changer, since it was like a live voice changer, chances are it probably did just change the pitch. I mean, it does sound like the pitch is a lot lower. Okay, so here it is right here. I changed it. I try to mess around to change it to, well, you'll see here. This is the way it normally sounds right here.
Hello? Hello, I need help. My address.
Okay.
This is.
Okay, and this is his brother right here, but
I've lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
That's the only clip I could find of him talking. But let's change this pitch, because obviously the pitch. So I was going back and forth between like 4 and 5 for it, but here it is on 4.
Hello? Hello, I need help.
I shouldn't have this one in. I cut out his parts talking, so all of it's going to be his parts talking. I don't know why I accidentally.
Hello?
That's the 911. Okay, here's his part. I had to listen to that again. Okay.
Hello, I need help. My address is. I've lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
I heard like some like gunshots. They were like right outside my house.
So that's at 4. The first ones were at 5, where I just upped the pitch. I don't know, 4 times, or 4 at 4.
And I think someone's dead.
I've lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
Say it again? I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots. I heard a scream. It was like a female. Yes. Okay.
So that's at 5. It might be. I mean, maybe it only was a little bit. Let's see.
Lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
Say it again? I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots. I heard a scream. It was like a female.
And then remember, his voice could have changed a little bit anyway, because that was the documentary, I think, was at least a year or 2. I have to go back and look when it was made. Let's put in 5. Let's see. What do you guys think? We need more to go by. I wish I had more of his voice.
I've lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
Say it again? I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots. I heard a scream. It was like a female. Yes.
Lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
Say it again?
Let's try.
I heard like some like gunshots. They were like right outside my house.
Let me change that to 4. Can you guys hear, right?
Some like gunshots. They were like right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
I've lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
Say.
Okay, so that's him. Oh, hi, Geraldine. That's his brother. These ones down here. This is his brother right here.
Lived with him for like 15 years of my life.
Say.
Okay, so now we'll go to David.
Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
Hello? Hello?
Let me take this down when she says hello. Oh, God. Okay.
Hello, I need help. My address is. I heard like some like gunshots.
I remember reading my first manga when I was in 5th grade.
I think there's more chance that could be a brother, but
I heard like.
But let's change it. Let's take it down to 3 with him and see, because I have no idea how deep
I
it
heard
made
like
it.
some like gunshots.
I remember reading my first manga when I was in 5th grade.
They were like right outside my house.
So if it was actually David doing it, it wouldn't have been raised that as much, I would say, but
First manga when I was in 5th grade.
or lowered as much.
They were like right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
Dragon Ball, Tokyo Ghoul.
Say it again? I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots.
I think if anything, it could be the brother. I don't think it sounds like him. But who knows?
They were like right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
Dragon Ball, Tokyo Ghoul.
Say it again? I just heard like a loud scream, and there was I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots.
And see Dragon Ball, Tokyo Ghoul.
Say it again?
See these fantasy characters with powers and all that. That weren't superheroes. It was the first time I've seen stories where people have powers or magical abilities without being like a superhero like Batman or.
I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots.
And see.
I don't know.
I just heard like a loud scream, and there was gunshots. I heard a scream. It was like a female. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Delete everything. Everything goes.
Hello, I need help. My address is, I heard like some like gunshots. I heard like some like gunshots.
I remember reading my first manga when I was in 5th grade.
The only way that could be David is if he's actually not only doing a voice changer, but doing like this too. Hey, like trying to like change his voice a little bit too. Otherwise, I don't think that's David's voice. But which he could be. I mean, if you're trying to like disguise your voice, you'd be nervous at the voice changer. Like, is it going to work? Because you know, like you got to count on it as you're talking. You got to count on like it actually working. You know what I'm saying? So just in case he could have, whoever did it could have actually like altered his voice too. So not only had the voice change, but also went hello and like kind of altered it just to make sure. Who knows? But I mean, it's definitely using a voice changer because you could tell like he does. And I know somebody pointed out on Long Crime or whatever. Maybe it was News Nation. I don't know. Some video I was watching where they were talking about like them using a voice changer. And you could definitely tell that there's like a pause, but before he answers each thing. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't flow as like, you know, when you're talking on the phone and you're calling 911 and it would be like an instant, but there's a pause between each answer. I noticed when I was going through this too. So yeah, I don't know. I do think so. If anything, I feel like I said, it could be his brother, or if it's him, he's actually not only using a voice changer, but going hello with doing that too. Because the reason I say that is because when I like hire the pitch, you could tell like if I just do it on 2 where it would match like 2 at the highest. Because if you go any higher, it's going to be way too high for David's pitch. So you could still tell the person is
Delete.
The person is still going like that. He's still like, you could tell it's still altered. Does that make sense? So yeah, I mean, I can make the pitch sound more like David's, but then it still isn't the natural pitch of the person. You could tell that it's still an altered thing. But with his brother, you could take it up to 4 or 5 where it sounds natural. 3 even kind of sounds like it could be a 3, 4, or 5. But when I take it to 3, it's still not deep enough to be David's, I feel like. It's close. I mean, I don't know, but the brother, I don't know. I think it definitely could be. Let me listen to it out of 3 again. Hold on.
Like a loud scream, and there was gunshots. I heard a scream. It was like a female. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Delete everything.
Powers and all that. That weren't superheroes. It was the first time I've seen stories where.
Loud scream, and there was gunshots. I heard a scream. It was like a female.
With powers and all that weren't superheroes.
I don't know. Who knows? I did that backwards. If he deepened it, that would be the opposite. I think I did the opposite. My thought process. But besides the point, I do think it sounds a lot more like the brother. So what do you think? I mean, that's what's crazy because I feel like it was somebody that was there. So was somebody like that risky that they said the 911, the cop said that it pinged there. So that person had to be there when they were calling it. And the fact that they said, oh yeah, outside my house. Okay. And whose house was it? He must've gave them their address, which that's what a swatting, they would give that address and pretend that's where they're at. Right. But it's just like, I don't know. The person was there. It pinged there. Yeah, I guess it could have been a neighbor. It probably wasn't a neighbor. It was probably either him, the brother, or somebody that was messing and actually went there. But I don't know why. I just keep thinking that the call came with it from inside the house. I keep thinking it came from inside the house. Like it was the brother or somebody that was in the house. And I know anybody could just say that. It doesn't mean they're really in the house, but I don't know. I don't know. I have a feeling that it was a plan. Like it was, maybe David's plan to get people thinking that, yeah, somebody would frame him. Because it's working. People are saying that, which to me, it makes no sense that it would be related, because the person is not going to, the deed is already done. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do something like that after the fact. He's already messed with the most anybody could. You know what I'm saying? This could affect his whole life if it is like somebody just messed with him. Why would they go and call? The only thing that makes sense, like I said, is if somebody after the fact freaking is mad at him and wanted to just mess with him. But still, it's like there would be no need to even do that now. I just think it would be a plan to, because for some reason people still do think that. And I could see somebody, thinking that can make everybody think like, ooh, maybe somebody did frame David for the murder. And then it kind of takes the heat off of him and gives him another defense besides himself. Because think about it, if he is guilty, he's not the smartest. Look what he thought was going to work. He's obviously not that smart. So anyway. Yeah, and that was the 911 call. Sorry, I guess I should have explained. That was the whole swatting. Well, somebody called his parents' house and said that he heard a gunshot. He says that I heard a gunshot outside my house. What's your address? Obviously, he gave David's parents' address. And he says that he thinks that the girl died. A girl screamed, and there was a gunshot, and they think that somebody's dead. The cops come, they knock on the door, and David's parents are like, huh, and his mom says, that the son is upstairs. So that David's brother's there, David's sister's there, his parents are there. And then you hear the cops say, well, it pinged, like basically it pinged. They called 911 and it pinged here, because she's like, well, wait, so the person that called was actually here? Because I don't think the parents would know anything about it. It could have just been like David and his brother's stupid plan. It's just a theory I have. But like they said, yeah, for 911, it pings, and it pinged. The person that called pinged here. The person was here that called, and so we came out, and so yeah. It was hold on. I had it last live. Now I forget again. I think it was September 28th or something. Let me see. September 26th. Why do I have that date in my head? But let me see. We could watch the body cam. Law and Crime has it, or is it TMZ has it? Or wait, I forget where I watched it. I think they both have it. September 17th. Sorry, September 17th. It happened. But what happened after that? After that happened, everybody, all the news channels are like, ooh, could it be? Could he have been framed? Look what happened. So I could see David thinking that could be a thing to get people thinking like, oh yeah, So maybe somebody did from him. Oh, like his defense, like, oh, somebody else, other people had freaking access to my car. Or I lost my key. I don't know where my key went. Anybody could have had it or something like that, And then it would get people like believing, like I could see him thinking, it'll get people believing that somebody has it out for him, and they would do that. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise it's just like, yeah, I know swatting happens, but I don't know. I don't know why. I think that it's them. Do you want to watch it or not? Hold on, let me bring it up. The 911 call real quick. Sorry, I guess I should have played that first before. I need to quit assuming that everybody has seen stuff. And then after that, I do got to go because I want to keep it kind of short so then I could, number one, edit, and then number two, people will actually click on it. Okay, so let's watch this one. Here we go.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
That's where he was meeting.
After Celeste's body was found in that 2023 Tesla. And police show up to David's Hempstead, Texas family home. So we're talking September 18th, after Celeste was ID'd. And the Texas officers, they respond to this home, guns drawn, and they respond to a report of gunfire.
I'll go out wide and keep you covered.
Why is it blurred? Hold on.
Wait for me.
I've watched the one where
I'm
it
gonna
was
keep you
blurred.
covered. Go ahead.
Right?
I keep covered. Come right here. Too many
Or maybe-
windows. Here, knock on the door. Dude, we got a phone call from here saying that somebody was dead. Is there somebody else that lives on this property that has your address? What's your address?
No.
That's it.
That's it. That's what actually got.
We got an address. There was a gunshot and a woman screamed.
What?
I'm serious. That's why we came up here like this, because and then they talked to the caller. Whoever they were talking to said that there's a person dead.
No, sir. No, sir.
So officers have guns drawn, they're ready, thinking someone might be dead, and there is just seemingly a lot of confusion by David's parents. They don't appear to have any idea what's going on. They close the door, so let's see what happens next.
Ma'am, we got to figure out what's going on so we can leave, okay?
Very advised. We made contact. They said nothing happened here. She shut the door. Now she's calling 911.
That's clear. We haven't received a call.
I believe she's going to be in the process.
Go ahead, give him a call if you want to verify it. Okay.
All right, she's calling you now. There's more that went on.
Can you repeat, sir? Broken traffic.
Here, I don't know why is that so blurry? I'm confused.
Wide and keep you covered.
Here's
Wait for me.
TMZ.
Wait for me. Because I'm going to keep you covered.
I could probably fast forward. I'm gonna have to watch it all again, but oh, this is 18th. Oh, it's
Here, knock
the
on the door.
18th. Past midnight. I don't know.
We
Why
got
did
a phone call
that
from
say
here
17th?
saying that somebody was dead. Is there somebody else that lives on this property that has your address? What's your address? That's it.
That's it. That's what actually got.
We got an address. There was a gunshot and a woman screamed.
What?
I'm serious. That's why we came up here like this, because and then they talked to the caller. Whoever they were talking to said that there's a person dead.
No, sir. No, sir.
Knock on the door. We need to talk to him. We ain't got time for this.
Ma'am, we got to figure out what's going on so we can leave, okay?
Very advised. We made contact.
Yes,
They said
that's
nothing
what I
happened here.
think.
She shut the door. Now she's calling 911.
It's exactly.
That's clear. We haven't received a call.
I believe she's going to be in the process.
Go ahead, give him a call if you want to verify it. Okay.
All right, she's calling you now.
Yes, and the key being yes, I think so
There's more that
too.
went on.
Can you repeat,
So then he
sir?
could be
Broken
like-
traffic.
Huh? That's not normal activity. If you were at the wrong address, they'd be concerned about somebody else. Like really? Like, you know what I mean? Maybe they
yes, really quick. Yes, 100%. They would be like, so David could be like, number one, oh, I don't know. I lost my key. So somebody else, I don't know. Anybody could have driven. Anybody could have the key. Yeah, there's, and he could, I don't know if he's going to say like people are, have it out for him or whatever. And then you have this. I think they're both planted to raise some kind of doubt that it was him and that it could have been someone else. 100%. Like, I feel like it's possible. I don't want to say 100% that happened, but it's definitely a possibility. And I think this is a part of it. I think the key being found under, where was it found in that? Did we ever find out if that key was for sure his key? And yeah, I do. I think there's a good possibility that is what's going on, Jezebel. I agree. That's why I'm trying to compare that voice. I think it could be his brother. And we know his brother is in the house, so it would ping.
trying to help.
Tinder 42, sir.
Sorry to bother you, but somebody called and said there was something. There was a person that they called on themselves. You know what I mean? It was like, hey, there's somebody dead.
Someone's dead.
That's why we had to take caution. You know what I mean? Wasn't trying to scare y'all. Just
And if it was
this
a
house
prank,
is
we
way
would-
off the roadway. We
So you just opened the gate and came in?
yes, ma'am. I'll put it back. I have a gate just like it.
I can try to get my country.
Yeah, when it's something like this, when they say somebody's dead, their life matters more than you know what I mean.
I hear.
I didn't damage your gate. I just opened it. Oh, it ain't on their phone.
And this is not a Texas.
Yeah, that's an out-of-state number.
Someone's messing with us. Someone's
But
messing with us.
whoever it would pinged here though, because wherever they call from, it pings and sends it to dispatch.
What?
So like whenever you call 911,
here?
wherever you are,
Uh-huh.
it sends like a ping
It's ping
to
from
that's how they know the address.
And this address came up to this number?
Yes, ma'am, that's where he was meeting with County to Engine 42.
So is there somebody on my property?
It could be. We'll check the property for you.
Yes, please.
So we'll ride around.
This
If
is
you
not
can give
in
me a
my-
layout, how's the property? Like, does it go further? Like,
No,
how-
it doesn't go any further back. It's just right here and then it goes
Follow the
straight.
fence, there was a gate here and the fence around, which is a private fence.
Well, him and I will ride around and check, and then we'll leave. You know?
Yeah, okay, so that was a false alarm. You see, I don't like this kind of thing. So if I really do have an emergency, then,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry.
Well, if you do have an emergency, you know we're gonna be here.
Okay.
We're gonna get here.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Mhm.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
What was he talking about the gate? Because that's another thing that's pointing that it's probably the came from within the house, because they had to go through some kind of gate. So that but the cops did get in. But what was he talking about the gate? Because it makes me wonder how complicated is the gate. So would somebody have been able to go in and get out that easy without you knowing? I don't know. I guess the cops got in there. But they were talking about a gate or something. I still think it's the brother. And you can make with technology, with different apps, you could make your phone number be anything from any state, from any, you know what I'm saying? You could call from Text Now or Google number, whatever, and you could pick wherever you want your number to be from. I mean, so wow. Anyway, well, I'm gonna do a pre-record, like I said, of the voice comparisons. So look out for that and let me know in the comments if what you think, because not many people gave their opinion on it when I was playing it, but I'm just curious what you guys think. I'll try to make it a little bit better to compare. But yeah, that's it, guys. If I find anything else, I'll let you know. You guys find anything else, let me know. This case is a slow moving one. Yeah. All right. Wait, what is that? Some people think, what's a magical creature, Casey? Oh, he did? I missed that because I watched the documentary. I actually watched it when I first heard about the case. And that's how I remember, like, wait, the brother talks in that, but I didn't rewatch it like recently. I just got the clip where the brother talks. But he says that in there because I didn't remember that. That is interesting because if he admits that there, it's crazy because things you say when you're being honest, well, it's kind of funny thinking about like what we're talking about and saying you're being honest. But like you say it, years ago, not realizing how that could have some kind of detrimental effect on you. Fast forward because you said it thinking, oh, I could be honest about how I lie because I mean, it looks like I'm just, being honest and I'm coming clean with how I am. But then fast forward to something like that, then it makes you be like, okay, you can't take that back. Like, so you're a liar now. How do we believe you now? But I did not even catch that he said that. You're talking about on that like 23-minute documentary. It's like a really short one, right? But yeah, here's the whole thing here. Hold on. Let me just play that. I'll play this other thing that I played the last live real quick. Where it plays the 911 call. It's quick, just a couple minutes. 911 call, and then it'll play a quick little audio where she says her son is home. I thought that was kind of interesting because we know he is in there. He is in there. All right, here, we'll watch this just really quick. Oh, I wanted to watch that video. I want to watch something else too. Hold on.
Hello? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Waller County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, I need help.
Where are you at?
I did it again. I didn't share my freaking screen. What is going on? I feel like it's not taken or something.
Waller County Sheriff's Office is Amber. Hello? Yeah, Waller County Sheriff's Office.
Hello, I need help.
Okay, what's going on? Where are you at?
My address is...
Okay, what's going on?
I heard, some, gunshots.
Okay. How close to your residence were they?
They were, right outside my house, and I think someone's dead.
Okay, what's your name?
Say it again?
What's your name? Okay, what's a good phone number for you, sir? Okay, and why do you believe that somebody's dead?
I just heard, a loud scream, and there was, gunshots.
Oh, scream. Okay. After shots. Okay, but you haven't saw or heard anything else after that?
I heard a scream.
Was it a male or a female scream, do you think?
It was a female.
Female? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get deputies headed out that way and just confirming you're at...
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to get them sent that way, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
But it's just me and my daughter, the only females here. She's 8.
Yeah. Who is
Four
the
of us
person?
live in the house. My son?
Your son?
Yes.
Okay, he's upstairs?
Yes. My daughter is upstairs as well.
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh, and I wanted to play this other clip. It's I'm sure you guys have seen it. Well, maybe not. I found it on Reddit, but I had seen it like a couple weeks ago too, and I don't know, didn't think to play it. But it's a thing where he starts like crying during one of his songs. But my thing is I'm trying to figure out what is the date of this. Does anybody know? Let me play it real quick. Because would it be after Celeste was dead? Because then that would make sense. Like he would know, and then maybe he does still feel some emotions or whatever, and he's crying thinking about it. I mean, I don't know. Let me play it real quick. Oh, that's not it. Oops, that's that other one. Hold on, I have the wrong files up. That is him, but it's the wrong. Okay, here it is. I'll love you from the after. I'll love you from the after. It's called I'll Love You from the Afterlife. So, I mean, there is a good chance this would have been after it all happened, and then he's getting kind of choked up about it. I mean, because even, there are some people that are capable of, killing, but still are capable of loving or, I mean, I guess some people would love in a weird way, but capable of like feeling sad about it too, or having some kind of emotion. But it says, wait, at the beginning, because it says David crying at his sold out hometown show. So is it this tour hometown show? That'd be in Texas, right? So let me see his tour dates. Hold on.
I love you from now. I love you.
Got in over your head, huh, buddy? But if it was on that last tour, then it would have been after she died. I would say, because I would think she would have been dead before they started the tour. From what we know, I think most people think that. But he did do a tour before that too, right? So that's why I'm not sure. Let's see though. Let's see. So this tour. So his hometown was Texas, right? I know he was born in. He was born in New York, but then, at a young age, he moved to Texas. So he's basically Texas would be his hometown, I would say. I mean, I would say that's what, right? You would think that's what they would be calling his hometown. But let's see here. So that would, yeah, that would be either August or 8th or 9th. That would make sense. Or it could be August 19th if we are saying it was in New York. But either, like August 8th or 9th, I mean, that would have been right after he just started tour. So if he did move that Tesla, even though SF Investigates thinks that the murder happened like, a little while before, and she was, dead for a while before that. But I mean, if he just, he was the one that moved that Tesla or whoever did, and then he goes on tour, and then a couple days later he's singing that song, Love You on the Afterlife, that would be probably, I could see how you kind of get choked up maybe, and even if it was New York, I mean, that would have been August 19th. So yeah, wow. Just another check of me thinking that he did it, I'm leaning more towards that, or that, let's say if there was an accident, that, I mean, he was aware that she died regardless. I'm feeling pretty strong that he was aware that she was dead and he took part in covering it up. Could it possibly been like an overdose or some kind of accident? Maybe, but either way, I mean, what he did is horrible. I mean, you do her like that, that's just crazy. So, all right, guys. Hey, Tony, I am going to go. Yeah, that's a good point, Hope G. That's a good point. Hey, Kalohi. Kaloa? Kalo? I forgot how to say your name, I know. Yeah, I mean, that could have been it too. Yeah. Yeah, he said to get rid. He said that what he said is that SF investigators. We just watched the interview. He said that sadistic plans to dispose the body that never happened. He still said he can't tell you, how it was done, if it was an accident or how she actually died. But there were some sadistic plans as far as how to dispose the body, is what he said. But yeah, I mean, they could have OD'd her, or she could have just OD'd. I mean, we'll never know the difference. If that ends up being the cause of death, we'll never know the difference. I mean, we'll never be able to know for sure if it was that, or you know what I'm saying? Because obviously he's gonna say that, oh, it was an accident, and but so that's, even if it does come, even if the toxicology does come back, that we still won't know if it was intentional or not. Because they could have done it to her, I don't know. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I'll say you made it. Hey, I know. Wait, who are you talking about? Him? David is annoying, or who are you saying is annoying? I was saying, because I was gonna agree, but then I'm like, I don't even know who you're talking about. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about now. Okay. Well, thanks, Jezebel. All right, guys, I'll see ya. Tony, thanks for stopping by. Mama Mia, you made it too. What's April 27th? Oh, Mama Mia, did I end up saying, you said your daughter went to his show? I can't even remember if we had that conversation privately or if we did it on a live. Because I remember you had said something like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was your daughter's video, but was that on a live or did we do that privately? And was she a fan of his then, your daughter? I know, because I wanted this to be quick, because I do want to edit, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like I want to start doing a little bit shorter live so people actually click on them, because I feel like when somebody sees like a 3-hour, 4-hour live, nobody wants to click on it, unless if they're there for the live. But a lot of people don't want to click on it, and I don't know. I'm trying to get my algorithm up. I just need to get in a freaking consistency of doing more lives, but shorter, instead of doing less lives, but really long ones. Oh, okay. So what does she say about this whole thing? Because I mean, then she ends up seeing David in concert. So you guys, I don't know. That when I played that video of David with the Hello Kitty attached to him, Mama Mia sent it to me, but I didn't realize that it was her daughter's actual video that she took from being at the concert. I was just thinking that you found it somewhere online, how it was just floating around. So I never even said anything, but that's cool. So that one video, hold on, where is it? Let me show you what I'm talking about. That was actually her daughter. So in Australia? Did she see him in Australia, did you say? Right here. Wait, not that one. Where is it? Well, for some reason, I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. Or wait. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. This. This is in South Australia. This is her daughter, I guess. Right? Mama Mia? She was close. Like, she was close. I don't know. I don't want to play it because I heard he's been copyrighting a lot of people. So trying to be careful. So she ended up liking him then on concert. You're saying she went to go see someone else, ends up going to this and ends up really liking him? Is that how it went? But she pointed out the Hello Kitty thing he has connected, and then he has that picture where he's looking down on with, I'm pretty sure it's Celeste, because you could see her Hello Kitty sandals or Crocs or whatever. And then also that thing that he says, he was holding up the Hello Kitty, and that I don't know where he posted, but that post where he says something like, bringing out Hello Kitty on tour or something like that. Which, if that was this tour, that's kind of crazy because she would have been not alive before the tour started or after the tour started. Right, Chloe? Yeah, I know. I feel like we got to grow up on good music, but they would think, they'd think the same thing, like, oh, your guys' music sucks. We got, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all they know, so they don't. It's crazy how just different generations, like, when you're a kid, you think so different. And anyway, all right, guys. Yeah. Have a good one. Thanks for coming. I'll see you guys next time. Like I said, I need to get motivated. I keep having these plans to do these pre-records, and I come up and I'll start like getting stuff all together, and then I never end up freaking getting anything out. And then I'm like, I'm gonna go downstairs and hang out with Zeke, and then I'll go post on my Patreon, and then I'll be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Peach Song Rom. What is it? Oh, from you. Don't know me by that though, I'll saying, because that's not something that I'm like, oh, that's my song. I love that song. That's like a silly song. So I hope you don't associate like that's the kind of music that I like, because that's not the kind of music I listen to. But I just knew that song because it was one of those kind of annoying like songs that was played all the time. Anyway. See, you guys make it hard to do a short live because then after I'm done, I want to talk to you guys. But you know what I need to do? You guys got to remind me. I need to start doing live streams. When I do a live stream, do it out to more than one platform. I need to start doing it out to Rumble. Because why not? Just put it on Rumble, put it on I could go live on TikTok now for some reason. Dude, TikTok sucks. They will not push out my videos because I think true crime, they're so sensitive and so strict on their stuff. So like a lot of true crime stuff, but I guess I take that back because there's a lot of true crime TikToks that do good, but like not this kind of stuff that I put out. Like they won't let me promote my TikToks. They won't push them out. I mean, it's crazy. I don't like TikTok. Ever since China sold it, I was doing a lot better before it got sold on TikTok. Now it's like sucky for like how like the style of how I do videos and shorts. Nope. I don't get 0 views. But I did get a notification that I could go live on TikTok now. So I need to just end up when I do a YouTube live, just with StreamYard, you could end up pushing, Rumble, TikTok, and just do them all together. I got to do it. I got to be smart. All right. Because why not? I'm doing it on YouTube. I don't have to do anything extra. It'll just automatically go on all the other ones. All right. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Have a good one.